welcome to Polish with Ray. I'm Rachel, and today I'm going to be sharing with you a brand new collection from Buzzmas Lacquer. This is their Buzzmas collection for 2024, inspired by Divine Mortals. The collection is going to launch on November 29th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and I will link all the sites you need to shop down in the description box, as well as Buzzmas Lacquer's social media. So it's going to be a huge release. As per usual with Buzzmas Lacquer, but like extra much because it's Black Friday and Buzzmas. So they're actually going to have two collections released. Like I said, the one I'm sharing today is inspired by Divine Mortals. And interestingly, the maker, Sarah of Buzzmas Lacquer, collaborated with the author and her sister to create this collection, which is so cool. But a second collection inspired by Baldur's Gate 3, which is technically the Black Friday collection, is also going to launch on the same day. I do not have those to show you. They sound really cool. Some opaque shimmers, magnetics, and thermals. So I will be really excited to check those out and shop them too, but I don't have them to share with you today. What I do have to share with you today is a gorgeous 9-piece collection, a lot of shifty shimmers, some reflective glitter, some hollow flakes, a little bit of everything. Because these are launching for Black Friday, Buzzmas Lacquer is going to have a 25% off sale on everything on the site, including new items. Also available on the site will be Overpours from the Beetlejuice, and the God and Gumiho mystery bags will be available. There will also be a handful of respawns, mystery overpours, and unreleased prototypes. Ooh. And every order will get some freebies too. Yay! I love Buzzmas Lacquer for that. Like I said, I know that was a lot of information. I will leave it all down in the description box for you to check out if that's helpful. All right, we have 9 gorgeous polishes to look at today. Let's go ahead and check them out. All right, so we're going to be looking at these in rainbow order. This first shade is a beautiful deep red called I Just Want to Spank It Out of Him. It's described as being a deep oxblood with emerald to blue micro flake shimmer. This one is going to be $13.50, and there is a warning that this color may stain. So this one had a gorgeous, beautiful, pigmented jelly formula. It went on very smoothly and evenly, as you can see here on the first coat. And as you continue to add additional coats, it's going to deepen up in color. So here on the second coat, also very beautiful, smooth, even coverage. And then it gets to be this deep, beautiful oxblood that you see here. After that third coat, I found that the microflake shimmer in here contrasted so beautifully against that oxblood base. So here are those 3 coats with a glossy top coat. In indoor lighting near a window, you can see the shimmer, the flakes shift so beautifully, and look how they glow away from direct lighting. Gorgeous. And then here's what it looks like in direct sunlight. I did want to mention that in this video, my nails have been struggling. So on my middle finger, I do have builder gel on that nail. I just want to make sure to communicate that with you. Other than that, everything is swatched in 3 coats with a glossy top coat over my natural nails. But I just want to spank. Gorgeous, gorgeous color, and I'm not even fond of warm reds. I did want to do some comparisons. First, I compared this to Gumiho from the Lovecraft Country collection years ago. In the bottle, they look very close, but in real life, Gumiho is much lighter. The shifts are similar, but Gumiho has UP pigment, whereas I Just Want to Spank does not. And next we have Love Reading, which is described as being a gossamer rosewood brown with glowy green to blue shimmer. This one will also be $13.50. Remember that Buzzmas Lacquer's gossamer formula is intentionally sheer and ethereal. And I put it next to this red so you could see how different they were. This one definitely has a red lean, but I agree it has a brown base. So true to description, this one was very sheer on that first coat. If you're someone who just likes one sheer coat of polish, just a little bit of glow, this one will look gorgeous in just 1 coat over the nails. In 3 coats, I had very light coverage. I could see a ton of visible nail line, but the shimmer really pops. I also felt like the base color on this one against my skin tone and my slightly stained nails didn't look super brown. It kind of just had like a warm yellowy kind of tinge to it. I also felt like this one was especially beautiful in indirect lighting. That's what you're seeing here, indoors, indirect lighting. And then here's what it looks like, 3 coats with a glossy top coat in direct sunlight outside. You can see on my middle finger where I have that builder gel on just how sheer it is. It is quite sheer. But on the rest of my nails, it didn't look quite as visible, the nail line. I didn't have any comparisons for this one, had nothing like it in my Bee's Knees Lacquer collection. And next we have Never Broker a Deal with a Demon. This one's described as being a sheer teal with a strong orange to green shimmer, and it is going to be $13.50. Look at that shimmer. It says it has a red and green shimmer, but there's definitely a strong gold component here too. And I just felt like the shimmer in this one particularly popped so beautifully against that base color, against my nails. It just seemed to glow. Like it had a lit from within look, and I was all about it. So here's 3 coats with a glossy top coat in some sunlight, but indoors, and just, I can't get enough of this one. Just the shimmer, like look at it. Holy smokes. This is one of those polishes for me. I didn't even care that it was sheer. Did not bother me in the least because it was just so breathtaking. Here's what it looks like. 3 coats with the glossy top coat in direct sunlight outdoors. Gosh, that golden green. I just need to be quiet and let you enjoy it. But seriously, the way it sparkled, it looked like the sun hitting the water. It's fabulous. And then I did compare this to Valkyrie's from the A Court of Silver Flames collection, again, years ago. In the bottle, they look close, but on the nail, they are quite different. The shimmer, I feel like, is glowier and Never Broker a Deal with a Demon, and then Valkyrie's has a lighter base. Continuing on to our blues, this one is called The Flood, and it's described as being a steel blue with rich blue shimmer and a scattering of silver light reflective glitter. This one is going to be $13.50. So I was shocked when I applied this one and found that it had an incredibly sheer formula. I guess where the base is so dark in the bottle, I thought it would build up to full opacity. It did not for me. I still had some visible nail line in 3 coats. I probably could have gone on with slightly thicker coats, but I'd say if you have nails that are shorter than mine, there is a chance you could reach full opacity in 3 coats. But I think many will find themselves wanting some kind of base, blurring base coat, a blue, cream, something to blur that nail line if the sheer look isn't for you. So here's 3 coats with a glossy top coat. I'm indoors near a window. You can see that blue shimmer just sparkles against that sheer kind of grayed out blue denim-y base. And then there's just a kiss of that reflective glitter. It's not packed in there. The formula showed that it was very smooth and easy to work with. I don't suspect this is a reflective glitter that's going to get really thick and gunky over time, just because there's just a hint of it. That's how I like my reflective glitter polishes. Just a little bit in there to add some additional sparkle in the sun, but not to affect the formula. So in the bottle, I was sure before swatching this one that it was going to be close to Little Serpent from PPU in August this year. Not at all. Maybe the base isn't super far off, but Little Serpent has flakes, the Flood has shimmer, and then the Flood has light reflective glitter. They are not alike at all. Next, we have Soulmates. We're moving kind of into the purples now. This one is a sheer indigo loaded with gold to green to blue shimmer, and it's going to be $13.50. These bottle shots are rocking my world. I just love seeing the base and then the different shimmers show up in the same shot. So satisfying. So this one was one that leaned more sheer as well. It was a little bit more pigmented than a few of the other sheer shades that I've shown, but in 3 coats, I could still see quite a bit of visible nail line. If your nails are shorter than mine and you go on with thicker coats, then maybe you could get full coverage in 3 coats. But again, I think most people who want that opaque look are going to want to pair this with some kind of similar colored cream or blurring base coat of some kind. So this is what 3 coats looks like. Love the glowy gold and green shimmer. We get such beautiful contrast against that purple base. So here's 3 coats with a glossy top coat. I'm indoors near a window. You can see a lot of visible nail line showing through, but on my natural nails, it's not as obvious. I will say, because this one is on the sheer side, I never did achieve that true indigo base color that I see in the bottle. It looked a little bit more like a warm purple on me. Just because it was so sheer, my staining on my nails may have played into that a little bit as well, but this was a really pretty polish. I like how the gold shift and the shimmer especially contrasted against that pretty purple base. So, comparisons. The only thing I had in my collection that was super close to this, I don't hold on to a lot of purples, I also don't purchase a ton of them, is I Won't Remember What You Mean to Me. This released in the Only a Monster collection years ago from Bee's Knees Lacquer. I found the shifts were pretty similar on this, but the base color is slightly more blue leaning, and I Won't Remember What You Mean to Me, and it's also a little bit lighter. We have another purple. This one's called Favored by the Gods. This one's described as being a mid-tone purple with glowy green shimmer, and it's going to be $13.50. This one had a very similar formula to the last polish we just looked at, Soulmates. It was super sheer on that first coat, and you got just the slightest kiss of color. On the second coat, I could see a little bit more of that purple base showing through, and then in 3 coats, I reached almost full opacity. Both of those purples kind of surprised me because, man, they built up quicker than I expected. I thought I would see so much visible nail line, and I did, but not as much as I was expecting. So here's 3 coats with a glossy top coat, indoors near a window. The blue shimmer in this took my breath away. I will say I'm not a huge fan of the sheer shades. They're just not my thing, but I have to admire how well the shimmer pops against those sheer bases. It just allows the shimmer to glow. So in the future, if I were Favored by the Gods, I think I would wear it as a topper over something else because I really adored that shimmer. But I'm just not a fan of that visible nail line on me, and a lot of visible nail line blurring base coats will change that pretty purple base. So comparisons. When I saw this bottle, I said, Dumicorn, is that you? The base is slightly warmer and Favored by the Gods compared to Dumicorn, and Dumicorn also I feel like has a larger particle shimmer that feels a little bit sparklier and a little less fine and like doesn't melt into the polish like Favored by the Gods shimmer does. Okay, I'll be shocked if this is not the absolute star of this collection. It's called Everything I Deserve, and it's a rich violet with purple shimmer and a ton of hollow flakes. This one is going to be $14, and it comes with a warning that the violet base may bleed with quick dry top coat. I did not experience that, and I didn't layer it with any kind of special water-based top coat, but I did want to include that warning. This also isn't advertised as being a lion cousin or sibling, but it does remind me of those. I just felt like maybe the hollow flakes are different. They felt rainbowier in Everything I Deserve. This one reached full opacity, no problem, in 3 coats. Shorter nail lengths might even be okay in 2, and the base of this is so vibrant. It's so bold and glowy that it made my purple hating heart fall in love. Like, I could not stop staring when this was on my nails. It's a beautifully made polish, like one that even if purple is not your thing, you have to appreciate. You can see in the direct sunlight here just how glorious those hollow flakes are. It was wildly beautiful. I'm out of words. It's just amazing. And even in lower lighting, you got to appreciate the beautiful shift to the pink in the shimmer. So pretty. So I know everyone's going to want to see this compared to You Can Bury Your Own Nuts. I don't have that one. I didn't get in PR. I didn't purchase it. I don't ever buy purples. But I do have My Sweet Cheese, and I felt like formula-wise it was similar to that one, but obviously the base of Everything I Deserve is more purple, and then base color-wise it was close to the Dragon Lord from Tiny Tina's Wonderland collection, but it doesn't have the copper flakes. And I felt like Everything I Deserve had more rainbowy flakes than either of those two. It would not be a Bee's Knees Lacquer collection without one Prugly, one shade that was impossible to describe without reading the description, and that is this polish. It's called the Rising Tide, and it's a grungy gray with blue to purple to green shimmer. It will be $13. Application wise, this one was super sheer. I feel like there have been quite a few of these really sheer Prugly polishes lately, and they're just one of those polishes that either you absolutely love or you don't. They're not my style, but I think I know those of you that are going to absolutely love this one. I did appreciate how the base color contrasted against those purpley blue flakes. It was a really pretty contrast, and this one did surprisingly build up to close to full opacity, although if I looked, as you see here, I could pick out my visible nail line. It just wasn't as obvious as some of the other sheer shades in this release. So this is 3 coats with a glossy top coat. The shimmer was really sparkly, and it was kind of like almost pastel multi-chromey in the indirect lighting, as you can see here. And then here is what it looks like in direct sunlight outdoors. Really interesting shifts from that blue to purple against that grungy greeny gray. Such a weird Bee's Knees polish. And then I pulled 2 to compare. It was closest to Your Mom from September of 2021, Hella Handmade Creations base color wise, but that one has more of like a pinky shift as opposed to like the blue shift in the polish from this release. And then You Are My Home wasn't super similar. And the final polish in this collection is called, it's on the screen, but I'm just going to call it Patroness. And it's described as being an ivory Dumacorn sibling, ooh, with the same green to blue shimmer. It's going to be $13.50. And yeah, I agree with the base color. It's like a true ivory. It leans maybe a little bit like pinky blush. Really intriguing. I saw it and was like, I don't know about this. No, it's so beautiful. This one had a creamier application, and I did feel like in 3 coats I got full opacity or super duper close to it. I could see hardly any visible nail line, and it just had like a clean look. Oh, I don't want to spoil my favorites, but I really enjoyed having this on my nails so much more than I was expecting. So here's 3 coats with a glossy top coat. Yeah, I see a little bit of nail line if I'm looking for it, but in person I didn't feel like it was quite as obvious as what you're seeing here. I also really appreciated how this one looked in direct lighting. It kind of took on a pinkier base color. I found it to be really pretty. And then here's what it looks like in direct sunlight outdoors. That blue to green shift was just so obvious and prominent. I actually adored this shade. I didn't think I would. And I found it also to be super unique to my Bee's Knees Lacquer collection and just my collection as a whole. So no comparisons for this one. So that was the Divine Mortals collection from Bee's Knees Lacquer. Let me know all your thoughts down in the comments. As for my thoughts, this is a beautiful collection, but I will be honest, when I unboxed it and saw so many purples, I was a little bit hesitant. Most of you know that purples are just not my absolute favorite polish color to wear. So when I saw so many of them and saw that some of them were a little bit on the sheer side, I was kind of like, I don't know about this. Especially after swatching the Craft collection most recently, that was lights out for me. So these I wasn't quite as excited about. But I gotta say, I love that Beesne's Lacquer has so much variety in their collections. I know a huge part of their fan base loves their sheer shifty shimmers. And then a lot of like older Beesne's Lacquer fans love the more opaque look. And so I really appreciate that. Sarah does a great job of combining those two things into one collection. I feel like there really was something for everybody. And as far as favorites go, I had 3 very serious standouts. The one I'm gonna mention as an honorable mention is Everything I Deserve, the gorgeous glowy purple with the hollow flakes. Okay, so this is what I swatched last as a full manicure, and I was so shocked. Like, this is, bold statement coming, this is the most beautiful, like, jewel tone primary purple polish I have ever seen. I mean, I feel pretty confident saying that. The hollow is so pretty. The base is so vibrant, and the pink shimmer is everything. That being said, I kept it on my nails for about 24 hours before taking it off because it just didn't feel right. Like, something about this color purple, I just do not enjoy seeing it on myself, but I kept like, it's just so attention grabbing, and it is a gorgeous polish. I just don't know why. I don't feel right wearing it. My next top pick is Never Broker a Deal with a Demon. As far as my Beesne's Lacquer collection goes, this is very unique. When I unboxed this release, I was thinking, oh my goodness, I don't have anything with this kind of base color from Beesne's. Like, I was sure I was gonna have something to compare it to that was super similar, but I had a hard time finding anything in this kind of more muted tealy green base. And the shimmer was so vibrant and glowy and beautifully contrasting with that green base. I really loved this one. And then my last top pick was a surprise for me. I'm just gonna call it Patroness. This one I was not expecting to like because of that base color. I typically like stark whites, and if it's not a stark white, it's kind of like an off-white, I don't always like it. But the undertones of this one were perfection in my opinion. It was like the perfect soft blushy white. It was absolutely beautiful on the nails, the perfect neutral, and then the softest, sweetest green blue glow. I adored it, and I couldn't believe it. So those were my top picks. Let me know yours down in the comments, and what do you think about this collection? Are you excited about it? Remember, Beesne's Lacquer is releasing a second collection inspired by Baldur's Gate 3. If anyone has posted their release or their review of that collection already, I'll link that down in the description box so you can check it out. If you enjoyed this video, if it was helpful for you, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!